Hello freshmen, I felt like we were a little rushed today, so I wanted to give a chance to slow down so some of you had this over the weekend to look at and kind of slow down on some of this. To start, consecutive integers, like we said in class, are numbers obtained by adding 1, because consecutive means one right after the other, which means that if your first one is x, your second one is x plus 1, your third one is x plus 2, and so on and so forth. Consecutive evens and odds behave similarly to each other, because in either case you get the next one not by adding 1, but by adding 2. So if the first one is x, the next one is x plus 2, then x plus 4, and so on. And it's exactly the same thing for consecutive odds. Never, ever, ever will you do x plus 1, x plus 3, because x and x plus 1 are 1 apart, x plus 1 and x plus 3 are 2 apart. It looks like you're adding odd numbers, but in reality, no matter what number you substitute in, these won't be consecutive anything. So kill that. In number 1, the first consecutive odd integer, we're going to say let x equal the first COI. And it wants 2 of them, so x plus 2 is going to be the second consecutive odd integer. And if the sum is 176, we're going to say x plus 2 is 176, because that means sum. Well, no, so that means is. This means sum. Now when I add 2x plus 2 equals 176, subtract 2, you get 2x is equal to 174. Divide by 2. 2x over 2 equals 174 over 2. You get x is equal to, and this would be 87, which means that the first, well, you can just say the numbers are 87, and if I plug that in here, I get 89 for the second one. We can do a check and make sure that 87 plus 89 is in fact 176, and it is. In the next problem, we have 3 consecutive integers. These are not evens or odds, they're just consecutive. So we're going to let x equal the first CI, x plus 1 equal the second CI, and x plus 2 equal the third CI. And when I add them, because it asks for a sum, you get x plus 1 plus x plus 2 is 96. Or 3x plus 3 is 96. Subtract 3 from both sides and I get 3x is equal to 93. Divide both sides by 3 and we get x is equal to 31. So in this case the numbers are 31, 32, and 33. Next problem, the sum of 4 consecutive even integers. Let x equal the first, and these are consecutive even integers. We'll call these CEIs. Then x plus 2 is the second consecutive even integer. X plus 4 is the third. And x plus 6 is the fourth even integer. Sorry, I'm cutting it. And then it says the sum is negative 44, so we have x plus 2 plus x plus 4 plus x plus 6 equals negative 44. Add, you get 4x plus 12 is equal to negative 44. Subtract the 12, and we have 4x is equal to negative 56. Divide by 4, and x is equal to negative 14. So if the first number is negative 14, we can say the numbers are negative 14, and then add 2, negative 12, negative 10, negative 8. For number 4, we have a rectangle, and it says the length of the rectangle is 3 centimeters more than the width. In this little sketch here, L is equal to W plus 3 will help me get the labeling on the rectangle correct. I want one variable, and I'm going to use W. So I have W and W plus 3. And this should now make sense. This shows a rectangle whose length is 3 centimeters more than the width. Find the length and the width if the perimeter of the rectangle is 98. I want to sit on this word perimeter for a second, because I am begging you not to mess up the fact that perimeter refers to all 4 sides of a rectangle. This is not length times width. This is length plus width plus width. I am even going to label all 4 sides in this diagram, so you do not add to length or add length and width and mess this up. Many of my Algebra 2 honors kids have done that. They add a length plus a width, and they miss half of it because they have not added all 4 sides to a rectangle. There are 4 sides to a rectangle. Austin, how many sides are there to a rectangle?
4.
So we don't need a let statement here. We have it in the figure. But I'm going to go W plus W plus W plus 3 plus W plus 3 equals 98. Or 4W plus 6 equals 98. Subtract 6. 4W equals 92. And divide by 4. And I believe we get W is equal to 23. We can say the length is 23 and the width is 26, or I can say the dimensions are 23, the units are centimeters, by 26 centimeters. So Tom has to read 143 pages of the 251-page book. He reads it 12 pages a day. How many days will it take? Notice how I said how many days? We're going to let D equal number of days to finish book. And then we're going to take 12D equals, because it's 12 pages per day, number of pages read. Well, the number of pages read has to equal the number of pages he has left to read. So if he has read 143 pages of a 251-page book, how many pages does he have left to read? That'd be 251 minus 143. 251 minus 143 is, let's go old school and do vertical math. 108. 12D equals 108. Divide both sides by 12. And D is equal to, what's 108 divided by 12? 9. So it takes 9 days. Next one, we have a triangle, one of the most favorite objects of my calculus kids. The sum of the measures of the angles is 180 degrees. I'm just putting the triangle down so we can see we have an ABC triangle. But really, it says that in ABC, triangle ABC, angle A is twice as large as angle B, and angle B is 4 degrees larger than angle C. Notice how it refers to B twice. That's a good starting point. And we're going to say, let B equal the measure of angle B. When I write it like that without using the word measure, it means measure. It's just a little geometry thing to save you some time. Angle A is twice as large as angle B, so the measure of angle A would have to be equal to 2B. Then when we have the measure of angle C, it says that B is 4 degrees larger than C. I will have a lot of people put B plus 4 here, but that wouldn't make B be larger than 4. You need to subtract 4 to go back to figure out what C is. This is really, really, really important. I want to hone in on this for a second. It says B is 4 degrees larger than C, but our variable has been defined in terms of B. We actually have to subtract 4 to get back to what C was. Now we have one variable. Sum is 180, so B plus 2B plus B minus 4 equals 180. Or 4B minus 4 is equal to 180. Or 4B is equal to 184. Divide both sides by 4, and you get B is equal to, that'd be 46. So the measure of each angle, this is 46, 2B is 92, and 46 minus 4 is 42. So the angles are 46 degrees, 92 degrees, and 42 degrees. One more. Total cost of a sandwich, a glass of milk, and an apple is $3.50, apparently in like 1980. The milk costs 1.5 times as much as the apple. The sandwich costs $1.40 more than the apple. What's the price of each? Look for the one that's common to both. We have apples in both of them. So what I'm going to do is say let A equal the cost of the apple. And then we'll start with the milk. The milk costs 1.5 times as much as the apple. So 1.5 is the fraction 3/2. So 3/2 A is the cost of milk. Then it says the sandwich costs $1.40 more than the apple. So let's go down and say equals the cost of the sandwich. And the sandwich is 1.4 more than the apple, so A plus 1.4. And then it tells you the total cost, total's the sum, is 3.5. So A plus 3/2 A plus A plus 1.4 is 3.5. Okay, this is a lot of decimals and fractions, and I can clear all of this if I multiply the left side and the right side by a 10. This is going to save me a lot of time in solving this problem. So that means 10 times A is 10A. 10 times 3/2. Half of 10 is 5, and 5 times 3 is 15. Then 10 times that A is 10A again. I know I'm breaking a little order here, but this is fine. 10 times 1.4 is 14, and 10 times 3.5 is 35. Now let's add these. 20 plus 15 is 35. Subtract 14, and you get 35A is equal to 21. Divide by 35, and you get A is equal to, this would be 3/5. In decimal form, 3/5 is 0.6, which means that A is 0.6, so the apple costs 60 cents. The milk costs, I'd have to do 3/2 times A, so 3/2 times 0.6, or 60 cents, is half of 60, and then times 3, so 90. So the milk costs 90 cents. And then 0.60 plus 1.4 is 2. The sandwich, apparently not in our line because it's like double that, costs $2. Done.